Cornel West, who previously endorsed Bernie Sanders, has decided to now endorse Green Party presidential candidate Dr. Jill Stein. Now, we all love Cornel West because not only was he an outspoken proponent of Bernie Sanders and his progressive ideas, but he referred to Hillary Clinton as the Milli Vanilli of American politics, which is the truest thing I've ever heard. So he explained his reasoning as to why he decided to flip and support Jill Stein and not Hillary Clinton like every other person is doing. And I wanted to share what he said because I thought that it will resonate, with a lot of people. It certainly did with me.
What made you decide to support the Green Party presidential candidate as opposed to Hillary Clinton?
Well, I've never been tied to one party or one candidate or even one institution. That's true even one church as a Christian. I'm committed to truth and justice. And Brother Bernie, no doubt, was the standard bearer for truth and justice during the primary at a national level, at a highly visible level. Once he endorsed Hillary Clinton, who for me is a neoliberal disaster, it was clear.
What do you mean by that?
A neoliberal disaster is one who generates a mass incarceration regime, who deregulates banks and markets, who promotes chaos, of regime change in Libya, supports military coups in Honduras, undermines some of the magnificent efforts in Haiti of working people and so forth. That's the record of Hillary Clinton. So there was no way when my dear brother, who I love very deeply, Bernie Sanders, said she'll make an outstanding president. I said, oh, I disagree with my brother. I don't think she'll make an outstanding president at all. She's a militarist. She's a hawk. She could take us into war with Russia. She could take us into war with Iran. So, I mean, I think she's dangerous in terms of her neoliberal ideology. Not as a woman, because I'm supporting, of course, my dear sister Jill Stein. I think after a magnificent campaign of Bernie Sanders, the next step is a green step. The next step is a progressive step. And when you're calling for reparations, you're calling for the release of prisoners who have been historically unfairly treated, especially tied to nonviolent crimes, and then saying they should vote, and that vote should never be taken away. When you're putting people and planet and peace before profits, Sister Jill Stein for me is somebody that's worth fighting for, and she's not a spoiler. A lot of people use that term, spoiler. If Hillary Clinton can't make the case to progressives, she doesn't deserve our vote. Now, Trump is a neo-fascist in the making. There's no doubt about that.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But the thing is that you can't just be a non-Trump and deserve one vote. If Hillary Clinton wants to vote of progressives, she better be real about it. But I don't think she has the capacity to be real about it. She's so tied to Wall Street. She's so tied to the corporate elite.
So everything that he said there is 100% true, and I appreciate how concise he was, not only in stating why he's supporting Jill Stein, but in also addressing the spoiler controversy as well, because consistently it's always the case in every single election cycle that spoiler candidates, and I don't even like using that word because I think it's just insulting, but the spoiler candidate is always blamed when Democrats lose. When are we going to start blaming Democrats when Democrats lose? It's frustrating to me because if a Democrat is so weak that their own base dislikes them, whose fault is that if people gravitate towards a candidate who is not part of the Democratic Party? What we all care about is the ideas, the progressive party goals that we all have. We want a party that's going to be progressive. We want a party that's actually going to stand up for what we believe in. Universal health care, a $15 minimum wage. We care about these things. And even though the Democratic Party has included some of the things we care about in its platform, like the $15 minimum wage and marijuana legalization, we know that they're not actually going to fight for these things, and that the only reason why they included that in their platform is because they are trying to pander to Bernie supporters, and they were trying to use that as leverage to get Bernie Sanders to endorse Hillary Clinton. So I don't believe anything they say. So Hillary Clinton came forward and she said that she would propose a constitutional amendment in the first 30 days to overturn Citizens United. That's great, but why is she only doing this now? Well, she wants to appeal to Bernie Sanders supporters, and she knows that she can say this because it has no way of passing. Do you think she's going to garner 2/3 of support to ratify a constitutional amendment? Absolutely not. So they will say anything and change nothing. This is a quote from Barack Obama, and it couldn't be truer, and it actually proved to be quite true for him as well. So how about we stop blaming the voters of the Democratic Party or the Green Party when they decide to vote third party, and actually blame the shitty, corporatist, corrupt, warmongering candidates the Democratic Party keeps trying to shove down our throats that we keep rejecting. Think about the 2014 election. We were blamed by people like Barney Frank because we didn't turn out to vote. Well, it's no wonder we didn't turn out to vote. Some Democratic contenders, for example, one in Kentucky, Allison Lundergan Grimes, she was running against Mitch McConnell, and she was in favor of conservative policies. You had Mark Pryor, who was a Southern Democrat, who was basically advocating for Christian Sharia. He was running ads talking about how the Bible is the best book ever and how he's guided by Jesus Christ. Okay, great. If we want that, we'd vote Republican. We don't need Republican light. We need Democrat, which is supposed to be the liberal party. But if you're not going to be liberal, we're not going to vote for you. So you can't blame us. Blame yourself. Blame the shitty Democratic Party. And look, here's the thing. If you have a strong presidential candidate, you don't have to worry about a spoiler. Guess who didn't worry about a spoiler? Barack Obama in 2008. Guess who wouldn't have to worry about a spoiler? Bernie Sanders. Do you think the Democratic base is going to be longing for some corporatist centrist candidate? No, they just vote for the Republican. So if you don't want a spoiler, don't give us a crappy candidate who we don't like, who is historically disliked. That's your own fault, not ours. Now, the thing about Jill Stein is that she's stronger than Bernie Sanders on many fronts. I mean, she wants to abolish student debt. This is something that Bernie Sanders, even though he was really great on, his free college tuition plan, I loved it, but he didn't talk about how to help us with student debt. So what do we do if we already have the debt? He said he wanted to help us refinance our student debt, but that's not much further than Hillary Clinton. Now, his college-free tuition plan is great. That prevents us from getting more debt, and we don't want to accumulate any more than we have. But, you've got to help the people who are currently hurting, who can't stimulate the economy. Jill Stein gets this. Now, furthermore, she wants to pull out of the Afghanistan war. Bernie Sanders didn't want to. She's objectively stronger on the issue of Israel and Palestine than Bernie Sanders is. So in general, I think that Jill Stein is a really strong candidate. I still prefer Bernie Sanders, or would have preferred Bernie Sanders, because I think that he had a better shot of winning. That's obvious. If you're the Democratic nominee, then of course, you're in a better position to win given our electoral system. But Jill Stein is a fantastic candidate, and she's very qualified. Now, people who are supporting Hillary will retort by saying, but she's never even held office. Who cares? Hillary Clinton has held every office you can imagine, and it's proven that her judgment is terrible. Jill Stein is someone who understands what everyday, normal working people want, and that's someone who I have to support morally. I can't vote for the lesser of two evils, because if you do that, then they are going to continue to get more and more evil. So I have to vote with my conscience, like Hillary Clinton said I should do. So that person is Jill Stein. So thanks for the advice, Hillary. I appreciate it.